You are about to enter a great adventure.
This is Strutting from Gorilla.
Welcome back, everybody, to a live episode of Strutting from Gorilla. It has been some time. Mania has come and gone, and we are very hungover still, and it's a month later. I'm Mikey Cash, Big Vito. We are SFG. Pay attention to the ticker below because you can use all that to find us on the socials. Subscribe to us, follow us, yell at us because you don't like our wrestling views. We'd love to hear from you. Vito, I'm pumped to be back in the chair with you, dude. It's been way too long.
Back in the saddle again, Mikey Cash. Like I'm ready to rock. I mean, we've got a good amount we can talk about here today. I was gonna tell you we're live from YouTube and X, but
Oh, that's right.
X for some reason isn't working. So we're live on YouTube, everybody.
Thanks a lot, Elon.
Yeah, right. But no, Mikey. I'm ready to rock. I know there's a ton going on in the world of wrestling, and I mean, our goal today is really to kind of give our thoughts post Wrestlemania, what's going on now, and then talk about everything else that's going on. I mean, you got Cena as the champ, right? You got Sabu. I definitely want to touch on Sabu. He passed away. You got Hogan starting a new NWO, going back 30 years and starting a wrestling company, amateur wrestling company, mind you. So there's a ton to talk about. If you're watching live, feel free to shoot a chat on any questions you have, or if there's anything you want us to talk about, and we're happy to get to it. But Mikey, let's start with good old Wrestlemania.
Wrestlemania. Where do you even start? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch that live the first night.
I know,
but I was fortunate to be able to watch it later, and I was able to watch Sunday night live. I gotta say, I think for the first time, even leading into this year's WrestleMania, for some reason, I don't know what it was, man, but I couldn't get into it. I was excited, but I struggled. I was like, I didn't have the same, I didn't have the same energy that I had for it as I did even last year. Last year, I can remember really feeling like there was like a palpable energy going into WrestleMania 40. And I just personally didn't feel that going into this one. I was excited for it. I thought Cena and Cody was going to be a great match. And it was exactly the kind of match that I think Cena wanted to have. And if you listen to his promos, I think it kind of lived up to his idea of trying to ruin wrestling because everybody was pissed off about it. But the one thing I'll say about WrestleMania, really, without going into too much detail and boring everybody, is that the highs were very high and the lows were very low. I think it was a little bit of an up and down depending on what match you were watching, kind of WrestleMania in terms of just like the quality and even getting the audience into it. Like you could feel even them were sometimes just not feeling a certain match. So that was kind of my take on it. I wasn't. There was a few things I wasn't really huge on. Like I love Jey Uso, but since he's won, I'm like, all right, well, now what? Like, yeet, no yeet.
yeah. I mean,
where do you stand?
I'm kind of in the same boat. I didn't hate the WrestleMania, but it didn't live up to the hype. And you know what? I'm still having nightmares about Travis Scott's song that was playing all WrestleMania weekend. Like it was cool at first, but when you hear it for like the 80th time, you're ready to throw the TV out the window. So, yeah, it was rough,
Especially
man.
Remember when he walks down the aisle?
Yeah.
And like you just hear, like I feel like that song is just in my nightmares now. I can't escape it.
I know. And here's the thing though, like we'll sit here and praise Triple H for the stuff he's done, but that there was just like, I don't know what's going on. There was no direction, right? Like it was so lackluster. You haven't heard from Cody since, right? Like he's been MIA. We're going to see what happens there. The Rock coming on, I mean, the way they set it up, it was pretty obvious that everyone wanted to see The Rock, right? They wanted to see him come out, and they thought it was going to have him involved in some aspect, and he no-showed. And then he went on the McAfee show like the next day or day after and gave some terrible excuse, man. Like, I don't know. They talk about this long storytelling, and like they had this plan for a while, and they had this great turn where all of us couldn't believe Cena turned heel. And then it just, I'm not going to say he's doing a bad job. I think Cena's doing the best he can do, and it's fine. But like, I was expecting more. I was expecting more from that. So where he goes from here, it seems like it's going to be like a retirement tour facing all of his buddies. Like, they got him versus R-Truth coming up on Saturday Night Main Event. How are you going to be excited about that match? Like, you got a Cena who, let's be honest, his wrestling in general was never everyone's favorite. And now he's older and it's not great. He can't carry a match. And then you got R-Truth, who when do you see him wrestled and it's not on like Raw or SmackDown, right? Like, I don't know. I'm just curious to see how it all plays out.
I don't necessarily agree about the Cena heel run so far. I think, yeah, the build-up for Mania was kind of what it was, but I do see what Cena's trying to do with this story of like why he's a bad guy now. And I think it's very much like somebody coming into some sort of like reconciliation with the fact that what they've been doing for 20 plus years, they're about to stop doing. And it's one of those deals where, okay, I'm going to get to say everything that I want because I got nothing to lose at this point. I don't have to worry about sponsorships. I don't have to worry about championships. I don't have to worry about pushes or any of that. Like, now I get to just tell you what I think of you. And if you fast forward a little bit to even what we saw at Backlash, I don't know if you watched the post match and the way the audience responded to him in St. Louis and his response to them. That's sort of telling you something about the character development going forward for him, in that, like, this is a guy who's had a lot of things on his mind, a lot of things that he's wanted to say to us for a long time, and now he gets to say them, and he's sitting in those feelings, and he's got, like when you got a kid at daycare, he's got big feelings, right? And now he's learning how to process them. And I guarantee you that by the time December rolls around, he's going to be a good guy again. He will sort of come back around, and there will be that reconciliation with who he is and his relationship with the crowd. Maybe I think about things too much, but like, that's sort of how I see it. And so I don't have a problem with what they're with, like that kind of arc he's on right now. The execution isn't always there. And I think that's where WrestleMania came in. It was like, all right, well, not having Rock there didn't really help, but maybe I'm also too forgiving, because in my head I'm thinking, well, will this eventually pay off? Because how many times have we as fans gotten way too reactive to things, and then later on it ends up sort of working out, and we're all like, oh, well, what were you so worried about? So I'm hesitant to just be like, well, because he wasn't there, this means the whole thing was for nothing. We don't really know that yet. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I get that, right? But like, here's the bread and butter of it all.
Yeah.
Cena hasn't put on a good match in forever. Like, and it's not, listen, you can talk about his matches in general throughout his career, whatever. I'm not debating those. But the last 5-6 years, I mean, when's a long, good match that he has put on? And like, to elevate him to that heel status and have this run, it's not going to create a good wrestling match. Like, I don't see that happening. Like, I'm not asking him for 5-star bangers or anything like that, but like, I'm tuning in to watch wrestling, right? And I'm not sure he's able to give us what he used to give us, or even fairly close to that, man. Like, and I just think they could have used him in a different capacity for his last run. I don't think him main eventing as the champion is going to leave people going home happy. I really don't. I don't see that happening.
I'm gonna sound like a jerk when I say this, but you're getting what you're getting, so now you got to deal with it. So I can go back and be like, well, if I could go back in time and change it, I would. But guess what? No, we can't. There's no DeLorean to take us back to January and say, don't do what you're about to do. Like they did it. So now
Yeah.
the way I'm approaching this is, well, what has been presented in front of me? I that's all I have. I don't.
Yeah.
We get lost as a fans in like the what if. Well, if they only did it this way, if they only did it that way. X is riddled with people and theories about, oh, how this could have gone, how that could have gone. How do you know that wouldn't have sucked either, by the way? Like everybody that loves to throw these scenarios out there, it could have sucked too. Like you
Yeah.
think in your head it sounds great, but anyway, I sound like an old man today. I'm coming in hot.
No, I
It's
don't
been a
disagree
while.
with you.
Now I feel like Cena. I got a lot of things I need to say.
I don't disagree with you. I just like I think we're past the point where Cena can hold a title and hold up a good match for a long period of time. You can put him in the mix of triple threats and elimination chambers and the Royal Rumble, and he'll be fine, right? But I just for this first sustained period of time is going to
Mhm.
be difficult, and I think it's harder to watch. Listen, it's not like Ric
It
Flair
is.
in his last match, but like I just think he's far past where he needs to be, and it's hard for me to watch that. And like I just I'm excited that he has this heel run. I wish they just did it in a different light. Like it would have been great to have him as head of a stable where he's bringing in these new guys and he's like the mainstay, right? And he doesn't wrestle very much and he just talks and he's a heel and he pulls up these other guys. And then maybe the last month he gets like a one last match that he can pull off or whatever it is. That's to me what I think would have gone across better. But again, I'm just telling you how I feel, and I think it's been a little dull with that. And I will say this though, switching gears from Cena, there were a few good matches on that card. I give Seth Rollins and CM Punk and Roman Reigns a lot of credit. That was a great match, man. Like
Yep.
I think it stole the show on both nights. And I'll mention another match later that wasn't even on WrestleMania. It was on Stand and Deliver that I thought was really good. But the way that they arced it, like, was perfect, man. Like
Yeah.
it was great. I thought it was
Yeah.
great.
There's okay. I do want to talk about that match, but I have like this one little thing in my head
All
about
right, go
Cena that I
ahead.
feel like
Go
I
ahead.
gotta
Go
just
ahead.
like
Go back
get
to
it.
Cena.
It's like an
All
itch
right,
on
I
my
get it.
brain, and I
I
gotta
get
get it out.
Scratch that
Okay,
itch, baby.
I gotta scratch that itch. Basically, to your point about his match capabilities, I've reached a point of acceptance that he's probably not. We're probably never gonna see that kind of like classic. It's very unlikely to happen. We're gonna get the best he can give us, and that I'm sort of just looking at this as they have pulled out all the stops to make this one of the most, I guess, intense farewell tours we've ever seen. He's working with all of his friends. He's getting to say goodbye to all of his friends. And in wrestling, the way you do that is through having a match together. So I think that's just what we're seeing. Whether we like it or not, that's what they're presenting us with. People on Busted Open and all these other stations and all these other like podcasts can like kind of dress it up however they want, but that's like that's really what's happening. And that's okay. I don't have to like it all. Like we talked about this way back when Triple H first took over. They're still going to swing and miss sometimes, and that's just the way it is. And I've just kind of come to an acceptance of it.
I don't know. Maybe okay. Fair enough. Maybe I'm looking at it wrong here too. I'll give you the other side of it. When Hogan came back to WWE and he had the match with The Rock, he was past his prime too. Like, but when he went back to the red and gold, I was so excited as a fan. And he still, in my eyes, put on the same matches he put on before, mostly because his matches all consisted of the same thing, right? So
Mhm.
it was a lot easier to do. But what made Cena great in his career was he had all these athletic moves that he would put on and was an a actually good wrestler. So to not see those things as he wrestles is difficult to see. It I don't know. That's how I look at it. But let me finish though real quick.
But
I was not as much of a fan of Cena, right, as some of these younger kids are, that I was when I was Hulk Hogan. So maybe it's a different feeling for them or other people that I'm just not able to feel, and that's why. That I'll chalk
that's
it
a
up to
great
that.
point. That's a great point. I wasn't even thinking, considering that, like the perception of it, depending on like what generation you came into this on.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Yeah,
So
I'm with you.
maybe, and if
I
that's the
think so.
case, yeah, if that's the case, Mikey, then okay, then fine. If other people are happy with it, then great, you know. But that's just my thoughts on all of it with Cena.
Mhm. Yeah. All right. Sorry. Now we can
Very
talk
good.
about. I got it out of my system. So thank you.
No, you're good. It was a good, healthy
Now the
debate
triple
right
threat.
there.
Yeah, right. I thought it was good. Look at
Yeah.
this. Like it never missed a beat. So the triple threat. Arguably, it's the one match on the card that had the most story out of any of them. It had
Yeah.
12 years of history. I mean, you're
Mhm.
talking from the Shield debut in a CM Punk match. He brought them in to protect the title. Like it was amazing. You just look at all that, and then you have Paul Heyman as just like that through line with all of them. He did masterful work. Like that was real theater at the end of that match
It was
with
good.
all the low blows and the chair shots. Roman Reigns just really the guy doesn't know how to keep friends. Is kind of what I'm seeing here. I from the very beginning, I think it's showing him something about his character that he used to talk about like years ago. That remember that shirt when it was like one versus all, and I think that's sort of like coming back here. It's like
Sure.
he is sort of truly, no matter what he does, no matter how hard he tries to keep everybody, it's always going to be just him.
Yeah, I kind
That's like
of
the way I see it from like a big sort of story perspective of his character, and I think it's kind of cool.
it is cool. I also kind of look at it like he's kind of like the Tony Soprano right now, right? Where he doesn't really have close friends. It's all friends that are friends because they have to be his friends, right? Like
Right.
the bloodline is, yeah, they're family, but like he didn't treat them all that great, but they kind of had to be there for him. And now when he doesn't have the title and he's not the head honcho, who's there for him, right? And then he's always got to watch his back. So yeah, it's a cool storyline. You know, Seth and Braun Breaker joining Team Heyman.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I'm excited to see where that goes. But just in
Mhm.
general, the match was good. I was excited for CM Punk. Like, say what you want about his career and what he did backstage and all that stuff, but he's been gold since he's been in WWE, and you see him in a different light where he seems to not necessarily be pressing to get the spotlight, but people are organically cheering for him, right? And
Yeah.
he seems to be enjoying what he's doing. And you know, there was a time when he was champion, and he did, like, we were all on his side, like the way WWE was being run and all of this, like we were all happy he said those things that he said, and he took it to another level, right?
Mhm.
Um, but to see him, you know, get his flowers, as you want to say it, is fantastic. And he's so good on the mic, man. Like listening to him speak anytime, I get excited. He always seems to have something good to say and gets me invested in the storyline. So
He's arguably doing some of his best work, and
yeah,
I think it's because of exactly what you said. He's just happy now, and
yeah,
we can't underestimate what kind of effect that's going to have on somebody's performance at their job, right? If I
yeah,
feel like I'm taken care of, and you know that I have the ability to go to management with any concerns I might have, and just the working environment is a lot more collaborative, then hey, you know, I'm going to have a lot more fun at work.
yeah, yeah. And I mean Seth Rollins too. Great job by him, and he's been on a great run, man. He is like the workhorse of WWE. Like I put him in like the Shawn Michaels category,
Sure.
right? Like you go on there, it's rare he has a bad match, and he's gonna make everyone else look good. He can talk on the microphone and get you invested. I always seem to be interested in what he's doing, right? And he can't say that about everybody.
No.
And he's really grown on me. So when he's on the card, I feel like I have to watch.
There's something about Rollins' ability to continue to like change and also maintain his quality that reminds me of present day excluded, but like Jericho. Like,
Yeah.
I think Jericho always had that ability to sort of like kind of keep his finger on the pulse, like I might
Yeah.
need to just like tweak a little something here to kind of keep people guessing. And his match quality was always very good. Never really had a complaint about a Jericho match, and that's kind of how I feel about Seth Rollins. And there's nothing wrong with the comparison with Shawn Michaels either. I think that's completely valid. I think
I like yours better.
his has been so good, and I'm really interested to see sort of what happens with like him moving away from like kind of like that. He had a little like kind of Joker in him, and he was during his run with like his entrance and everything, and I wonder if he'll move away from that because I feel like typically when a guy's entering into something like he is, it usually dictates that there's going to be some sort of like shift in how he presents himself. So it might be different entrance music, might be something different. Will start to change along the way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree there. Did you watch Stand and Deliver at all?
I did, but I honestly forgot. I have forgotten it since April.
Did you see the ladder match for I think it's the North
Oh
American
yeah,
title?
yes. Holy smokes, dude! Sol Ruca, man. Holy moly.
What a great match that was, though. Like, just in general, it was fantastic. I can't speak more. I've always liked her. I don't know what it is. I like her look. I like
Yeah.
her style. I love her finisher, man. The Soul Snatcher. Like, I think
It's
it's
the new
awesome.
RKO.
Yeah, but it's cool the
That's
way
gonna
she
be the
does it.
RKO
Like,
going forward, is gonna be her.
yeah, and it's a great name, the Soul Snatcher. Like, great
Like,
name. Great name.
you can see it. I when she hit it off the ladder like that, oh, the fact that she kinda does that, like, back like, kind of like a forwards like that front flip into it, like, just like, the athleticism is just off the charts. I think she's really good. I mean, everybody that was in that match deserved to be in that match. Like, and now as I'm talking to you, I feel like Celine Dion, it's all coming back to me now. So, it was but but I'm telling you, I just like I'm so impressed with the women's division in NXT, especially because I just feel like it's getting like stronger and stronger. You almost need to put Roxanne Perez and Julia on the main roster full time now because it's getting too stacked. Like it's going to be so heavy that essentially NXT has kind of become a women's show. I don't know if you watch if you watch it weekly, but whenever I've been watching it, it's a very heavy women's division show. They'll talk like the men's division gets their time, but it's almost as if like it's begun to shift in terms of like who they're giving like the lion's share of TV time to. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah, I the women's division is so stacked in NXT. It's unbelievable, man. Like it really is. And I am excited about the future of the women's division just because of that. Like it's really unbelievable. They outshine a lot of the guys in NXT. And
Big time.
yeah, there's a few people in NXT that I've been excited about. When I watched Stand and Deliver, who's that tag team that I told you? They won the I'm gonna forget their names.
You like Hank and Tank.
Hank and Tank,
You like Hank
man.
and Tank.
It's their energy.
Yeah.
They remind me a lot of like in a weird way, they remind me of like Legion of Doom, right? Like they just have that like energy about them. I don't know. I
Yeah.
like them. And then Trick Williams is great.
Oh.
So there's a lot to be excited about. But that ladder match, if people haven't seen it, go back, check it out. It is fantastic. Like I thought it was one of the better matches of the whole weekend.
Oh, absolutely it was. Absolutely. There was so much wrestling. It was like hard to keep track at one point. I was like flabbergasted. And I'm going to use that word, flabbergasted, to talk about how I felt when I just like was presented with the mass of wrestling like from basically Thursday through Sunday. It was out of control. I don't know
Yeah.
who actually kept up with it. I'd love to hear a story from a person who watched all of that.
I watched a pretty good amount, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I watched the Hall of Fame a good amount. I actually didn't watch it live because it went late, but I watched a lot of it, and that's actually something else to talk about. Triple
Okay.
H's speech. It was long as hell, but it was so good. Like I watched the entirety of it because it talked about the click and stuff backstage, and like he thanked everyone that was an influence in his career, and I thought that was fantastic. Again, could have been shorter. Short. I wish it was a lot shorter. But
Yeah.
some of the stories he had and the stuff that he did, like he talked all about it, and it was really, really great. And the rest of them were okay. Like Lex Luger tried to get up, but couldn't because we got up a little
Mhm.
bit, but he had like a bump going into the taxi cab or something, so he couldn't do. He was going to actually walk to the stage.
Damn.
But I guess he had like a bump going into the taxi cab or something. But yeah, it was a good weekend. Again, I think it soured it. I think if they had you couldn't do this, but if they had flipped the main events, I think we all would have walked away a little bit more satisfied. Like honestly. But I don't think you can not have Cena Cody be that
No. That was
co-main
gonna be a
event.
tough one regardless. And not to mention, speaking of matches that stole the show, another triple threat was the women's world title with Rhea, Io, and Bianca. That was
Yeah,
an incredible match. I
yeah.
I I have never I was been hard pressed to see a triple threat like that. I mean,
It
that
was
was
very
and
good.
that was both in I'm pretty sure they're both in the same night. I thought it was both on Saturday, but man, they absolutely crushed it, man. They were phenomenal.
Yeah, and, the only thing I didn't like is they used almost an identical finish for the Intercontinental Championship match with
Yeah.
Dom. It
And
was, like, almost the same exact finish. It was kinda
yep.
weird. I was shocked that they did that, to be honest.
It almost felt like the same person was, like, producing it and, like, nobody told him not to repeat what he was doing, and,
Yeah,
was nobody talking to each other about that? But
yeah, a little odd.
still good. Great for Dom too. I'm happy
Yeah.
to see I'm looking forward to seeing, like, his, his little ode to Eddie run here with the Intercontinental title.
Yeah, what a cool moment, though, when he's being booed out of the stadium everywhere he goes, like, serious heat from the fans, and then he wins and everyone goes nuts, right? Like like talk about understanding the fans. But the funny part was I heard a story where he left and then the fans were still going crazy and Triple H told him to get back out there.
Oh, I think I saw that, and he
Yeah,
runs back out.
yeah, yeah. So no, overall, like I said, was it the worst WrestleMania ever? No.
Mhm.
Was it just didn't live up to what I thought it was going to be. That's all.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
is that a good thing or a bad thing? Nah, not really. I just I think
It's a thing.
it's better. I would tell you that the WrestleMania was still better than some of the ones we've seen in the past. Um, but I don't know. I just we'll just leave it at that. Like
It was
it
fine.
was fine. And you know what? People will look back and remember Cena winning the 17th world title, and then we'll see what the future holds here. But a couple other things I wanted to talk about. How do you feel? So I'm going to talk about two things here, and I want your opinions on it. It kind
Okay.
of coincide. So AEW, I haven't been watching it a ton, but Kenny Omega lately said something the other day where he was basically like, yeah, in a few years, you're going to have Logan Paul versus Mr. Beast at WrestleMania with the way they're going. And I thought it was a pretty good shot at what WWE is doing. And I get his point. Like he's trying to play on the fact that, the people at AEW are true, pure wrestlers, which you can debate all you want, right? We can go down that road. But then the second part is WWE's bringing a lot of AEW talent and they're going over. Like, it's not like they're coming in and being treated differently. How do you feel about that? And the last piece I'll say is I find it very strange because Triple H hated WCW guys when they came in. So like to see him now bringing AEW in and then actually treating them as good, if not better, than some of the WWE people that have been there, a little strange to me. What are your thoughts on it, Mikey?
All right. So on the Kenny Omega thing, what's interesting is like I don't entirely disagree with like just like the what he actually said. Maybe not what he meant, but like what he said could happen. With the way they do things, it could be something that they would do.
Yeah.
I mean, they've never shied away from having people from all walks of entertainment like participate. So it could realistically happen where maybe it's not the main event, but you could see something like that, like Mr. Beast versus Logan Paul, or two personalities that really aren't involved in wrestling having a wrestling match.
Yeah.
That doesn't, and that's always in line with who WWE is as a company. Like it's really yes, it's pro wrestling, but there is the entertainment part of it, and they lean into the entertainment part perhaps a lot more than the other wrestling companies do, which is I think what makes them stand out, and also what opens them up to a lot of criticism. So it's sort of like it's a gift and a curse for them, because you get a lot of mainstream attention, but then from within the industry, it opens you up to a lot of criticism, and that's why a lot of wrestlers have a lot of things to say about them once they leave. So
yeah, I also think to that piece too, like I get it, Kenny. I know what you're trying to do, but at the same time, those people are bringing so many eyeballs on WWE, which is why their production is so far superior to yours, right? Like that's the difference between the two. And sometimes you have to make those sacrifices. The other piece is you got 2 nights of WrestleMania. You literally have almost a week of matches. Like one match that's ridiculous. Who cares if it brings in eyeballs?
well, you know who will care is like everybody on Twitter. Like, everybody that's got a podcast is going to get on here and be like, I can't believe that they had that match. And it's like, I don't care.
Mikey, I used to be that
I either
way.
just won't watch it, or I'll go do something else, and I'll come back and watch what I want to watch.
Well, Mikey, you know
Doesn't bother me.
You know my sentiments. I was always against it, right? I'm always like, God, why do we gotta watch this crap?
The Bad Bunny thing, yeah.
Bad Bunny, like, what are we doing? We got guys like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn sitting on the shelf. Like, yeah.
I tell you what, I'd kill for Bad Bunny versus Logan Paul. I'd love to see Bad Bunny kick his ass.
Listen,
I'd watch that. I would watch that.
I would too, and I'll give them credit when they can come in and do a good job. And hate Logan Paul or not, I hate him. But man, the large percentage of his matches are better than a lot of people that have been wrestling for a long period of time. So if you want to say that stuff, like you gotta put on some good matches here and actually back it up.
So I feel like I've adequately answered that first thing. Now
yes, you did.
For the next part here with Triple H and just like the general treatment of what like comparison of bringing in an AEW guy versus how it used to be when you brought in a WCW guy. It was Vince. I think it was just I think that was a lot of ego of I want to show a superiority, and I'm going to kind of do that through how I book you to show that even though the crowd might like you, what's best for my business is to show them that WWF is, or WWE is, superior in every way. So that's probably what influenced a lot of the way Sting's run went when he came over for that brief time. As far as like the Triple H thing goes, yeah, you might have hated him, but that's also like 25 years ago. So I think that's more of just a general, people change, and now he has a lot more to consider than just being backstage as a wrestler, like just hating on somebody else from another company. So I think it's more now he's in a leadership role, and it behooves him to book those people in a strong way, because that helps the company's bottom line too. When they're doing well, people will want to tune in for the matches. People will want to buy their merch. So I think that's the difference nowadays. It's like, regardless of how he may personally feel about somebody, I think I don't think Vince really did separate that, and I think Triple H has a better understanding of how to parse that out.
Yeah, I also agree with that, Mikey. I think I think that's very true. And you know what? He's done a pretty damn good job so far. So we'll continue to trust in what he's doing here. But all right, you answer those questions. All right. Other thing I want to talk about, switching gears a little bit.
Okay.
Sabu. Got to be honest with you. I had a little post up there, me and you meeting Sabu
last
recently,
year.
and I'm pretty sure I even said it to you because I didn't want to get pictures with people when we were there originally.
Yeah, we wanted.
And I literally
Sabu.
kept walking by, and I literally said to you, I go, dude, we got to get a picture with him because who knows how long he's going to be around. Not in like a bad way. I knew he was going through some health stuff. And so that's what forced me to get that picture. And like now in retrospect, I'm really happy we did. He was honestly one of the nicest people we met there.
He was.
Like he was super awesome. And I just want to say this about him. I read his book, which I have. I can't point to it because it's really awkward
Back there.
over here, and it was really, really good. And again, you read these documentaries and whatever, and people are going to tell you whatever they think in their mind. But like listening to a lot of people and like reading what he wrote and in the time frame, he was so much of a big influence in wrestling history that I don't think people really understand. You think of Sabu and you think of like hardcore extreme tables and like barbed wire, and that's all great. I love that stuff. But just the moveset he had was so instrumental in like the Rob Van Dams of the world, the Kenny Omegas of the world, the Bryan Danielsons, the CM Punks. Like, go back and watch a lot of the stuff. He's going to have a lot of things that he did that never had been done before. In fact, the table match or the table, using a table in a match, really was him. He was the one that like really started doing that a ton. The Dudleys kind of took it from him a little bit. I don't know if they'll tell you that or not, but you know, there's just so many good things that he did. I mean, and you could also say bad things too, because it was definitely a different era of wrestling at that time that had never been seen. So I'm sad that he went out the way he did. I don't really know what the cause of death was. I know he was sick, and like I know he took a lot of medication before he did that last match with Joey Janela. I don't know if you saw clips of it or anything, but it was pretty brutal and tough to watch. I'd put it up there with the Ric Flair match, a little bit different because Sabu could still move and do some things. But I will say this about that: if there was ever a guy to go out like that, I feel like it would be Sabu. Like you know what I mean? Yeah.
So I keep thinking of
pretty much, man.
Heard about how what went down.
Pretty much. That's how I look at it. But I feel like that guy has given so much to the sport of wrestling. It was like a drug to him, man. And it didn't really give much back to him, to be honest. Like, he did things in a unique way. I get that, but it didn't really give much. He never got a big contract from any of the big promotions. You know, he never got that. And you look at all the other guys that came out of ECW and they did. And anyways, that's my 2 cents. I don't know if you have anything you want to say on Sabu, but
I think it's really sad about how it all went down. I think it's more of a like what happened with Sabu feels like more of like a bigger issue about what's happened to a lot of wrestlers that didn't make it very big, and you know what are some of the things, what are some of the protections in place now for these guys? Like, what do they got? What are their options? You know, how do you like change the business structure in a way that is able to sort of help these guys once their wrestling career actually is done, and so they're not pushing themselves beyond what they're really capable of, which is where, you know, extra things get introduced to feel like you can keep up, you know, puts them at higher risk, you know. And I think in general, today's day and age, it's a little different. I think
it's a lot different.
There's a lot more, but I think there's enough of those guys still hanging around that like something's got to be considered there. I don't know what anybody could do. Maybe nothing can be done, and it's just something we're watching that's like incredibly sad to see, and you hope that changes that the business is making now will prevent that from happening again.
Yeah, I think you have like two sides of this, right? Back in the day, they weren't paid very well. And that time frame, I can tell you Sabu probably was not a millionaire, man. Like he wasn't. We saw him at uh when they came to that local it was him and Too Cold Scorpio, maybe.
Yeah,
And he still looked pretty great at that time. It wasn't that long ago. Maybe it was like 5-6 years ago, something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
I thought he looked pretty great. And but I think some of these guys are so addicted to the adrenaline rush of being in front of a crowd and performing that they would give, like the wrestler, man, like literally like the wrestler. It's all they have, right? Then you have guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin who knew when to call it quits. He knew when his body could not take it any longer, and did the right thing. And I think you're right. Those guys back in the day wrestled a large majority of the year, didn't have off days.
Yeah.
They weren't protected like they're protected now.
No.
I think it's a lot different now, and you're going to see probably this generation of wrestlers living a lot longer. But yeah, it definitely is sad to see. I really liked Sabu. I watched a lot of his matches. If you haven't had a chance, go back and watch some of the stuff he did with Taz and ECW. That's when he put on really his best work. It was unbelievable, the stuff that he would do. And he was a real mainstay of ECW. So that's my 2 cents on Sabu. I did want to talk about it because I liked him. You hate to see a guy go out like that, but it is what it is.
No. That's sad, and obviously condolences to his family. It's sad to lose somebody like that.
Yeah. All right, change of subjects before we wrap it up here and sign off. What else have you been excited about that's been going on post WrestleMania? What's the deal with Cody? Are we going to see him come back? What do you think is going to set up for SummerSlam we got coming up here?
Should we start creating a new segment that's based off of Jerry Seinfeld? Just what's the deal? What's is the deal with Cody? Where has he been? Well, he had a year run. I think he was probably just taking some time off. So I think it's kind of fitting for the story too. Just sort of give him a beat. Let Cena kind of be doing what he's doing, and I wouldn't be surprised if maybe June or July he comes skulking back around looking for maybe a rematch. I'm not sure, or he comes back around and that's when Rock emerges and there's some sort of payoff there. But one thing I am excited for, and this actually is like outside of WWE, well, kind of and isn't, but NWA has the Crockett Cup today, and one match that I'm really looking forward to is Kenzie Page versus Natalya, because Natty's been doing some dabbling in some work outside of WWE, which is another really cool business shift that we've seen under Triple H. We saw Natty have a badass match in Bloodsport, which actually opened the door for this match to happen afterwards. And so she's been cutting like the best promos of her career. If you haven't watched a Natty promo recently, go and watch it. She's been posting them all over her social media. Guys, you're missing out. And it makes you like almost furious that they had her doing what she was doing in WWE for 20 years. It's insane because that woman is gold when you let her just unleash. And it is like the most like natural form of Natty that I've ever seen. And I chef's kiss. I love it. I'm very excited to see what she's going to do. It's like a little resurgence for her.
Yeah, I would tell you the same with Karrion Kross, man. Like he gave that promo after WrestleMania, and dude, what a great promo. Very CM Punk-esque, right? Like, hey, I'm not even on the card, blah 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 blah. But then he went and did Bloodsport too. And he has a documentary on YouTube that I watched a little bit of. It was really good. And actually, selfishly, I just bought a t-shirt, which I don't buy many t-shirts. I want to point this out to people. It is very rare I buy a t-shirt. I have to like the wrestler, but I have to be like the style of the t-shirt. So like it's a tough twofer there. So I ended up buying one. But but yeah, no, yeah, I love the fact that they're going outside WWE. I know Billy Corgan owns NWA. He gave like a great like pump up speech. If you go on, you could see it and how he partnered with WWE, and he really focused on the history of NWA.
Yeah.
You know, like we are the true, lineage of wrestling. And it was great to see. And listen, the more the merrier, man. Like I always love options when I'm watching.
And that's the beauty of it is it seems like the territories really are back. I know we've mentioned it before. The territories are back. They're just called
Different.
something different now.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
called NWA. It's called Bloodsport.
Yeah.
It's that's what you're seeing, and it's a beautiful thing. It's GCW, right? It's all of these
Yeah.
different territories. It's AEW. It's WWE. They're all a territory. They're just calling it something different.
Yeah. No,
It's
I
cool.
totally agree. The other thing that I'm kind of I don't know what my feelings on this one. I'm excited about it. I've been watching a lot of the LFG. I don't know if you've seen it. Like the first couple
Yeah.
episodes, I'm like, this is kind of stupid. But the more I go along and watch it, it's definitely entertaining. And
Mhm.
I'm continuing that. If you haven't checked it out, kind of cool. But they're doing a new documentary, or is it a documentary that you'd really call it? But it's a series on Netflix where they're going behind the scenes of WWE
Oh
and
yeah.
talking about the creative direction and how they come up with the storylines. Like it's a real big peek behind the curtain. And I have my like thoughts on that. I'm slightly excited to see the peek behind the scenes, but
Mhm.
like Stone Cold had a really good analogy, and he was like, I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest with you. He goes, when I go see a magic show, I don't really want to see how it's done. I want to actually just be entertained by the magic. And I'm like, that's a really good point. Like it does kind of ruin it when you know the secrets to the trade. So
Mhm.
I'm curious to see how it goes. I'm still gonna watch it because that's who I
Mhm.
am. But I don't know if I'll be more pissed or not.
Uh, it's funny when I heard that was happening. The first thing I thought of was like, it's not really. It's they're going to present it a certain way. Like, there's no way that they didn't come up with the idea of this show with also the accompanying idea of we're going to show them a certain aspect of this, or we're going to show them a presentation of what we want them to see how this actually goes, and then there'll be how it actually is, and that we'll
Yeah.
never see that. And so for everybody that's worried about it, I hear you. I get it. I also think, pump the brakes because I think it's a TV show and it's going to be curated to be presented a certain way. So like just keep that in mind that it's all a work still. And then there's still elements of it that are a work. There's going to be some stuff that you're going to be like, "Oh, I didn't know about that." That's fine. But there's no way they're going to let you see how they make all of it.
Yeah.
It's just not what they're gonna do.
Well, we'll find out,
It's just what
Mikey.
I think. I mean, I'm speaking in like a certain tone here, but I just don't think they will.
Yeah, we'll find out. I listen,
Yeah.
watching LFG has been pretty eye-opening, and it is funny because I got to tell you, Undertaker does a really good job, and
Yeah, he actually has.
he
He's
does a
great.
really good job, like
Yeah.
trading these guys. The rest of them, Booker, I got to be honest, I'm not thrilled with any of the other coaches, like any of them, to be honest. But listening to what they say and then watching it, and then watching the actual wrestlers who are in WWE and NXT makes it definitely different to watch
Yeah.
because you can see some of the stuff they do. Like one of the big things they talk about all the time is like slowing it down, right? Like slowing it down. And it was really cool to watch. And then you watch some of these matches, and you can see the people who do that and do a really good job with it.
Mhm.
So, anyways, that's
Yeah.
my 2 cents with all of it, and we'll see. I think some of that show is a work too, in my opinion, but
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
yeah, well,
Definitely.
they're always getting work. I'm a mark for everything, so you can.
I hear you. Don't get too upset. It's not they're good. They're fine, you know?
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
all
yeah,
cracking beers after the show. They're good. It they're doing their job then if we're getting that upset about it.
yeah. All right,
But
and last thing before we sign
what?
off, We didn't talk about this. We mentioned it at the beginning. We got to talk about it before we leave. Hulk Hogan
Of course.
and
Yeah, there he is.
his new wrestling thing. I still don't really understand what it is, but I got to be honest. I saw this promo with Eric Bischoff and Hollywood Hulk Hogan, and I was like, "What is this?" And it was very reminiscent of his NWO days. What I will tell you is Hogan should just always be Hollywood Hogan. Like he does a way better job just being like a heel Hogan. Like he should
You mean
just
how he
stay,
actually is? I think
he
that's
should
how
just
he
stay that way.
actually is. I
He
think
should just stay
that's
that
his
way.
real. I think this is the time where like you're starting to realize that Hogan has been Hollywood Hogan forever. It's been
Yeah,
underneath him,
yeah,
and
yeah.
now it can just is just who he is,
I
and
mean,
he can just lean into it. Like
he
the
even
red and yellow is actually an act at this point.
he even sold the booze that he got. He was like, "Yeah, I've been doing such a great job that even when I'm not liked, I still get the most views on
It's
YouTube
like
with
I don't
the."
think that's why they were booing you.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
know.
like
But what's the
insight
deal?
level 0 for Hogan.
What's the deal with this? Do you know anything about this amateur wrestling league? Like, I'm shocked.
No,
Like, do you think WWE is happy he's doing this or not? Like, is it
they
gonna
could
be a
probably care less. They just won't put him on the show.
yeah,
If I were them, it's like, all right, well, do what you want to do, dude.
yeah,
You're on a Legends deal. We're not having you in any matches. The most you're doing is showing up to an event and signing.
and
So
promoting his beer?
exactly, which is really not good. It
It's
tastes
not
like
good.
PBR.
Yeah, that's pretty much
PBR.
what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
not great.
So I know I sound harsh, but I just don't care. He can do whatever he wants. I don't care. Like, do what you want to. You want to run a little, fakakta wrestling company, knock yourself out. But like, I'm not gonna watch it. But good luck to you.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah,
I mean, it sounds like it's to be more like amateur wrestling, right? Like that's what I
definitely Hogan's wheelhouse.
yeah, which
Amateur
I don't
wrestling.
understand. Yeah, I don't understand. I get what they were trying to do, and it definitely seems like there's a niche there. Like all these amateur wrestlers come out of college and there's nowhere for them to go, right? So maybe you put a little entertainment spin on it and they have a league they can go in and hey, maybe there's something there. It'll be on ESPN Ocho 8.
Yeah, we can only hope.
ESPN Ocho.
At 2 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, Mikey. Well, listen, if you've been watching this whole time, we appreciate it. It's been a while since we've been on here, so we want to do a little bit of a live episode. I'm sure we are going to try and amp it up and do this on a regular basis. But folks, summertime here in New England, and
Yep.
we're both old and busy, so we're doing our best here. But we love to give our opinions on wrestling. And if we're not giving it on here, me and him are texting it back and forth and yelling at each other about something when we're at a party or whatnot. But last thing I will say, Sarge, our resident friend of the podcast, is at a bachelor party. So we want to give a nice Sarge salute to you because we could not make it down there, but we hope you're having the best time, and we'll get you back on when we start amping up for SummerSlam here in the next few months.
Yeah, drinks on you, Sarge. Enjoy. All right, guys. Thanks for sticking with us today. Good to be back, and we'll be back probably in the near future. Whenever we can, we'll get out here and share our thoughts with you guys. In the meantime, we'll post some screenshots from the text messages me and Vito send back and forth to each other to keep you entertained. But until next time, keep on strutting, jabronis.